Good morning. Welcome to another episode of Geekoutdoors.com. And today, on this episode, we're actually going to go fishing, or maybe not. But today, on this episode, I actually wanted to talk about a subject that I touched on briefly on a previous episode, which you can see down below. And it was talking about internet security. Now, in this episode, I actually want to expand upon that and just talk about security in general, primarily on devices and also security within our daily lives while using technology. So, a lot of security that people are familiar with now and have been for years is the whole concept of passwords. And there's different types of passwords. They also have security questions that they ask you on top of the passwords. And so, that method, I could see now, and I think a lot of people are starting to notice that it's really fading away. And so, in the future, we probably won't have passwords anymore, or they might be used less often. That there are services out there online that actually manage all your passwords for you, and then use like various authentication methods to authenticate which website that you go to, which is great. But the things are changing, and the first place that they're changing that a lot of people can see nowadays is on their devices. The most familiar one is the fingerprint scanner, and that is part of security. It's called biometrics, and biometrics is things like your fingerprint, things like your eyeball, even things like your weight. I remember when one of the companies I worked for before, in order to get into their data centers, which were all underground, there would actually be a scale, and it would actually even like scan your eyeball to make sure that you are who you are. That's pretty sophisticated. And the security, the government industries have had biometrics for a long time. And I think biometrics is great. But any security can be hacked. But biometrics, it adds another layer of security that that makes it harder for people to crack into. And so, if you probably notice in your households, you could actually purchase systems now with the biometric scanner on your door. And so it's pretty sophisticated stuff. I can easily see in the future. I know this might sound crazy, but in the future we might have brain scans. Because our brains have a certain wave pattern, and maybe in the future they will have security scans on your brain to make sure that you're the right person, or maybe even a further one, they might have DNA scans. I'm not sure how they're going to do that without taking some blood, but that might be the future. Now, in terms of how does this affect the security that we have today? Well, as more and more of our lives become dependent upon technology, the more that we have to be cognizant of security. Here's a good case in point. We have a lot of things now, a lot of devices. They call it Internet of Things. So in your homes, you might have a router. You might have your refrigerator, which is now internet connected. You might have appliances which talk to each other, or you might have devices like the Amazon Echo. And so and also your thermostat. Those are all more and more being internet connected, and also even your cars now. They all talk to each other, and these systems can and have been hacked, mostly through malware and botnets. Now, the unfortunate thing is when these hacks are occurring, people, the consumer, they're not aware of it, and it's something that's really hard to fix because you just can't like go and download a patch and it fixes it. And so that's a new area that I think it's going to become more and more prevalent, and it's going to require more and more knowledge on our side, on the consumer side. And so that's where we're heading in terms of technology. I am really excited about the new technologies such as self-driving cars and so forth, but also at the same time I'm really worried about the security ramifications. Case in point, a few years ago OnStar was hacked. You can imagine if somebody hacked into your car and now it's driving you off to unknown destinations. And so yeah, it's a great time for technology, but also we're going to have to be more diligent in our security. So that's all I had today for this episode. It's more of like my thoughts about where security is today and where I think things are going. and also, kind of to make ourselves aware that, security first and foremost, it's our responsibility to be as knowledgeable as possible, and secondly, to enjoy it. So thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe, and if you had any comments or ideas, leave those below. And if you want to see the whole written article, be sure to check out geekoutdoors.com, and we'll see you on another episode.